we have more model reveals for Warhammer Age of Sigmar 4th edition, and I'm not impressed. Hello everybody and welcome to the video. We have got the new Prosecutors out for Warhammer Age of Sigmar 4th edition. Well, they're not out, they've been revealed. Now the problem I have here is not the fact that it's just a resculpt of an existing model. It is, I'm just not impressed with it. Let's talk some more and take a look at the model. Well, first up, I have to confess that I was never a fan of the original Prosecutors. There's something about models with wings attached to them that I personally don't like. I had the same problem with the Sangri Guard for the Blood Angels as well. I remember buying some of those when they first came out, and I hated putting the wings on, and I hated painting the wings as well. I also had some of the original Prosecutors because they came in the box for the very first Age of Sigmar game. I also wasn't a fan back then, and the wings kept falling off. They just were not easy to put on, and even when they stayed on, I didn't enjoy painting them. And apart from the practicalities, they're just not something I find aesthetically pleasing on a model. On something like the Lord of Change, that's not too bad. It's a bird-like creature, but when it's someone in armour and they've got wings, it's just not something I like the look of. Now on to these models specifically. I really like that they have updated the model with the new Thunderstrike armour. This really gives a hint that all of the Age of Sigmar Stormcast Eternal models will eventually be Thunderstruck armour exclusively, which I quite like because I like having a cohesive army that all looks very similar. That said, apart from the wings, which I've already mentioned that I don't like, there is two things that I'm not loving on these models. However, you guys may love this, so let me point these out. The first thing is their weapons, these spears. They're far too long. I can't imagine people flying through the air and being able to wield these spears. They're too long. They're too unwieldy. They would throw the model off balance. I especially don't like the one that is a trident. It just doesn't look right. It's not visually pleasing to me, and it's too heavy on the end as well. I'm all for rule of cool, but in this case, the rule of cool has knocked the model off of balance for me, and flying models like this, especially when they have wings, they need an element of balance to them. A slight bit of realism. This brings me to the other issue that I personally have, which is the way they are connected to the base. Now, we have had flying stands in the past, and Games Workshop seem to be trying to get rid of the flying stands altogether, which is good. The flying stands were ugly and didn't work very well, and most people who custom built their models, or custom based their models more accurately, would cover the stands or just get rid of them completely and find a way to connect the model to a rock, to a tree, or to in some other way, rather than having the clear plastic flying stand. Games Workshop have done their typical thing here. They've got some rocks and some ruins which the models are flying over next to give them that connection to the ground so that we can actually have them raised up in the air. The problem with this is they're not really attached to them. Let me be more clear on that. They are attached physically to the rock, but it's as though they're flying by them and clipping the rock as they go past. They're not pushing off the rock, they're not standing on the rock, they're not jumping off the rock. They just seem to be next to them, far too close. When you look at a lot of them, the foot is angled at a downward angle with the rock kind of pressed against the entire side of the foot. So I have no idea what that's supposed to be, because if they were pushing off, they would be flat against it. They're just next to it, and it's not working for me. It's a really weird way of connecting the scenery to the model. A lot of people haven't been fans of the helmets I've seen online as well. I'm not too bad on that. I like the helmets. I do kind of get a point, a bit like with the spears, that they're too unwieldy for a flying unit. I think this has been a great update for the unit to put it in Thunderstrike armour. I just feel there's a couple of misses on the overall look of the miniature. We'll discount the wings because that's a personal choice, but the weapons, to me, they're too unwieldy, they're too long, they would be too off balanced for the model. But the real problem is definitely those flying bases and how they are connected to them. If they were pushing off, standing on them, flying over them in some way, that would be okay, but they just seem to be stuck to the side of their legs. But let me know what you think in the comments. Are you glad to see the Prosecutors back? Are you glad to see them in Thunderstrike armour? What do you think of the weapons, the helmets, and more importantly, what do you think about those bases? Do they work for you? Or, like me, are they just slightly off? If you've made it this far through the video, thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and guys, I'll catch you all in the next video.